Welcome back to the H.S.1st Biology online classes. I'm Sukanya Roy, and today we are going to have our fourth lecture on Animal Kingdom. Let's start with our class. So, as you people have already followed my previous lectures, so you have seen that we have started with the non-chordates. That is, these are those animals which lack the notochord. Okay, so we have already seen that under the non-chordates there are 9 different phyla, and in our previous lectures we have already studied about the first 6 of them. So the remaining 3, that is Arthropoda, Molaska and Ikaido, Dharmata, are the ones which we are going to discuss in our today's lecture. So at the very beginning, let's start with our lecture, the phylum Arthropoda. So this is the largest phylum, or it is the largest phylum which consists of the animals on this planet. That is, the population of animals under this phylum is the largest among all other phylums in the entire planet. Clear? And the name Arthropoda has been given because it consists of the insects or the animals which have jointed appendages or jointed feet. So arthro means joints and poda means feet. So from this actually the name has been given as Arthropoda. That is, the animals under this phylum contains jointed feet or appendages, as a result of which the phylum has been named so. Okay, so already we have seen that it is the largest phylum of animals on this planet, which mainly includes the insects. Okay, and they have organ system level of organization. That means in their body different organ systems have begun to develop, as a result of which they have organ system level of organization. Then they are triploblastic, that is, they have 3 germ layers, that is ectoderm, endoderm and mesoderm. They are the Siloamate. That means what? They have a true coelom or body cavity which is lined by mesoderm. Then they are bilaterally symmetrical with chitinous exoskeleton. So here's a diagram. You can see that the animals, means some of the animals or insects belonging to this phylum have been shown here, and you can see that all of them are bilaterally symmetrical. That is, can you see in each of them one line is drawn, one axis has been shown, right? This line in each, here also, and this one is the one here. So all of this insects or animals can be divided into equal right and left half only if we want to divide them along this plane, this longitudinal plane. And so it is termed as, means all the animals are here actually bilaterally symmetrical. So can you see, if I divide this particular animal into 2 halves along this plane only, then only we will get this right half and this left half exactly similar, right? So in no other plane we will get the same or similar halves. As a result, only one plane is there, longitudinal plane, which can divide the animals into 2 similar halves, because of which the animals are bilaterally symmetrical. Okay, and they have actually chitin deposition along their outer skin. Okay, and so it is termed, means like they do have a chitinous exoskeleton. Clear? Next, the next important point is their body consists of 3 main segments. Okay, this head, thorax and abdomen. That is, their body can be divided into 3 major or broad parts. They are termed as head, thorax and abdomen. You can see here in the diagram, if you consider this particular animal, then there are 3 segments. Can you see this small portion? This one is the head, this portion is the thorax, okay, and this entire portion is the abdomen. Okay, that means the entire insect or the entire animal can be divided here into three parts: head, thorax, and abdomen. Here also, if you see, this portion is the head, this portion is the thorax, and this portion is the abdomen. Okay, that means what? The body can be divided mainly into three broad parts: head, thorax, and abdomen. Okay, next they have jointed appendages. As already we have discussed, this is the most important um, like characteristic feature of arthropoda, and you will have to write this in your exam if it is asked so, to write the important characteristics of the phylum arthropoda. They have jointed appendages. Clear? So here, if you have a look at the diagrams, you can see that this one, if you see, you can see that this feet are like several parts, as if it seems like several parts have been joined here to form the entire feet. Can you see this portion? Then here's a joint like thing, then another portion, then again some more joints. So that means what? It can be divided into some parts. The entire feet, this one you can see one portion here, then one, then again one, like this several parts have, it seems like several parts have been joined with each other to form and the entire appendage of a particular animals under this phylum, and so they have jointed appendages. Clear? Next, they have respiratory organs like gills, book lungs, or the tracheal system. Gills are the organs which help in like respiration, and book lungs are specialized organs. They also help in respiration. You can see here diagram is given which represent a book lungs. Why it is named as book lungs? Because it actually resembles a closed book. Okay, and this thing seems like the pages of a particular book. Okay, and this is a closed, like it seems it is a closed book containing several pages, okay, in stack, and so it is termed as book lungs. Then the arthropoda, the animals under this phylum arthropoda actually has open circulatory system. What do you mean by open circulatory system? It is a type of circulatory system where there is no blood vessels, that is the blood actually remains exposed in the body cavity. There is no blood vessels, as a result the blood remains open in the body cavity or coelom, and so, and all the organs like they remain in the, means they remain immersed in the blood itself, and so it is termed as open circulatory system. Okay, then the next point says that excretion in this animals actually occurs with the help of a specialized tube-like structure termed as Malpighian tubules. And the important sense organs in the animals under this phylum are eyes and antennae. Okay, fertilization here is internal, and they are mostly oviparous. What do you mean by oviparous? This is the oviparous, the animals which actually lays eggs. Okay, uh, are termed as oviparous. Now, some important examples are given. Some economically important arthropods are honeybees. All of you have heard the names, right? Honeybees, the scientific name is Apis, and silkworms, which helps in the production of silk, that is, the scientific name is Bombyx. So here you can see these are the honeybees. Okay, they help in the formation of honey, and this one is the silkworm. So these are the economically important arthropods, and also some vectors are there. What is vector? Vectors are nothing but the organisms which actually acts the carriers of something. The carriers of diseases are termed as here vectors. Okay, so different types of mosquitoes, as we know, they act as the carrier of different types of diseases. So here the mosquitoes which belong uh, to the phylum Arthropoda acts as vectors, and some of the important ones are Anopheles mosquitoes. We know that an Anopheles mosquito is responsible for the disease of malaria, right? female Anopheles mosquito is responsible for means like it acts as the carrier or vector for malaria. The next genus of mosquitoes, that is Aedes, is responsible uh, for the dengue fever, while Culex mosquitoes acts as the carrier or acts as a vector for diseases like filariasis, Japanese encephalitis, etc. So with this, we come to an end about the description of phylum Arthropoda, and now we are going to discuss about the phylum Molaska. So here are the important uh, features of the phylum Molaska. So they can be either terrestrial or aquatic. That is, they can either live on land or in water, and they have organ system level of organization. That is, they have the specialized organ systems within their body, and generally they are bilaterally symmetrical. That is, you can divide the bodies into two equal or similar halves only by dividing them along a single longitudinal plane. Okay, they are triploblastic, that is, have all the three germ layers, ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm, and they have a true coelom lined by a mesoderm, and so they are coelomate animals. Clear? Next, the body is divided into head, muscular foot, and visceral hump. So let us see in the diagram. In this diagram, you can see that this is the body of a snail, which is an example of the animal coming under the phylum Molaska. Now, this animal here, the body is divided into this portion is the head. Okay, this portion is the head, and the entire this portion, this one is the foot, muscular foot, which actually helps the animal to uh, perform locomotion, that is, move from one place to the other. And this, and also there is a visceral hump. So what is that? Visceral hump or visceral mass is the portion of the body, okay, which actually consists of the major parts of the respiratory system, digestive system, excretory system, reproductive system, etc. Okay, so this actually is present inside the body and generally covered by the shell. So here you can see that their body is unsegmented, that is, there is no segment, and is covered with a calcareous shell. Now this one is a hard, means is a shell which kind of protects the animal, okay, the soft bodied animal, and this shell is hard, okay, because of the presence of or deposition of calcium salts, and so it is termed as a calcareous shell. Okay, so under the shell actually the visceral mass is actually present. Clear? Next, the respiratory organs here also are the gills, which are actually present between the visceral mass and the mantle. What is mantle? Mantle is nothing but a layer which is actually present just above the visceral mass and just beneath the shell. So that mantle, एक्चुअली मेंटल का फंक्शन क्या है? मेंटल एक लेयर है जो विसरल मास को प्रोटेक्शन देता है, दैट इज it is just present above the visceral mass and it protects the visceral mass from any kind of injury. Okay, and also the mantle secretes the substances which in turn help in the production of the shell. Okay, in those mollusks, actually shell is not present in all the mollusks. Okay, so in those mollusks where the shell is present, for example in case of the snails, there the mantle actually secretes the substances which in turn help in the production of the shell. Clear? Then the mouth, you can see here, this is the head portion, right, and this one is the mouth present in the head portion. So the mouth contains a file like rasping organ termed as radula. So what is radula? It is nothing but a tongue like structure present inside the mouth, and it is having some very fine or very tiny teeth like spine spiny structures, okay, which are very hardened, and they also have calcium depositions, which in turn help the animals to crush or grind the food materials before it is passed inside the esophagus. Okay, so it mainly helps in the feeding of the mollusks. So this is a very important structure. Just try to remember this. So you can write in your copy about what is radula, mentioning its function as your homework. Okay, and examples of the phylum Molaska. Some examples are pila, octopus, squids, etc. So here are two pictures showing. This one is the pila, okay. It is also a snail under the phylum Molaska, and this is the octopus. I hope all of you have heard the name and seen octopus, right? It is having a head and it is having 8 arms, okay. So these are the examples, important examples under the phylum Molaska. Now let's move to the next phylum, or the last one under the non-chordates. Okay, that is the phylum Ikaido Dharmata. So these are the group of animals which comes under this phylum. So what is the meaning of this term Ikaido Dharmata? Is that Ikaido Dharmata means spine bearing skin, that is the animals or the phylum which bears the animals having some spines present on their skin, okay, they are termed as, or they actually fall under the phylum Echinodermata. So these are the spiny skinned animals. Clear? Here you can see that this is an example of the organisms present under the phylum. This is a sea urchin, okay, and can you see some spines are there? This elongated structures, these things are the spines, okay. So the animals which belong to this phylum actually have more or less, they have the spines on their external body, that is on the skin, and so they are termed as Echinodermata. Clear? They are marine with organ system level of organization. That is, all the animals belonging to this phylum are marine. That is, they are only found in the seas or oceans, and they have organ system level of organization. Okay. Next, they are triploblastic and coelomate animals. That is, they have all the 3 germ layers: ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm, and they have a true coelom lined by the mesoderm, and so they are termed as coelomate animals. Then most of them are radially symmetrical. Here the case is different. They are generally radially symmetrical because you will be able to divide them along any plane, okay, and then also will get 2 equal halves. Now for example, this one sea urchin, if you try to divide it along any plane, like if you try to divide it along this plane, then also you will get 2 equal halves. If you divide it along this plane, then also you will get 2 equal halves. If you divide it along this plane, then also you will get 2 equal halves. If you divide it along this plane, then also you will get 2 equal halves. That is, if you are dividing the animal along any plane, you will get 2 equal and similar halves. As a result, they are generally radially symmetrical. Clear? Next, their endoskeleton consists of calcareous ossicles. That means inside or beneath their skin, they have the endoskeleton, which consists of some small calcium deposited elements, okay, termed as calcareous ossicles, okay, which the main function of this calcareous ossicles or this calcium deposited elements are that they help to protect the animals from any kind of external injury. They in turn actually protects the body, okay, or the vital organs present within the body. Next, they have a water vascular system. This is the characteristic feature of the echinoderms, okay. They have water vascular system, that is which actually helps the animals in locomotion, that is to move from one place to another, and they also help to the animals to capture their food and also helps in respiration. That is, they helps in the gaseous exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. It is nothing but basically but a canal like system which is actually regulated by water, and water here plays the essential role in locomotion or feeding and respiration. Okay, next, here the sexes are separate and fertilization is external. What do you mean by this? Fertilization is external. Here the male and the female animals release their gametes outside the body. That is, the fertilization actually occurs outside the body, that is in the water, and so it is termed as external. And here also the development is indirect, that is the development from the very young stage to the adult forms takes place through some intermediate larval stages, and so the development is not direct, rather it is indirect. Okay, and examples, some important examples of organisms under this are uh, starfish. Okay, you can see this one is a starfish, and sea urchin, this one is a sea urchin, etc. So this is all for today's lecture. We will be back with the next lecture on this chapter very soon. Till then, study well and stay tuned. Thank you, everyone.